Today we are going to talk about how to make adjectives agree with nouns, or adjective agreement. So in order to make adjectives agree with nouns, the first thing you need to know is how to identify a noun in Spanish. In Spanish, we have two main types of nouns. We have masculine nouns and we have feminine nouns. Masculine nouns will always have el or los in front of them. They will typically end in o or os, where feminine nouns will have la or las in front of them and will typically end in a or as. So what does it mean to make your adjectives agree? So in Spanish, an adjective needs to be the same as the noun. So if we have a masculine noun, we need a masculine adjective, and same with feminine. If we have a feminine noun, we need a feminine adjective. So the thing you want to know in order to make adjectives agree is the first thing you need to do is you need to find the noun being described. Is it the subject? Are you talking about a blue dog? You want to find the noun that your adjective is describing. Then you need to determine the gender of the noun. Is it masculine or is it feminine? You can do that by looking at the L or the la, or by looking at the ending, or you can look it up. The third thing you want to do is to change the ending of the adjective if needed. So once we look at the noun to figure out what type of noun we have, we need to then go to the adjective and change the adjective. Some adjectives will be in the form that already agrees. Some adjectives will have forms that agree with masculine and feminine nouns. So we don't always have to change that adjective, but we need to look at it and decide. And the last thing we need to look at is the noun plural. If the noun is plural, then the adjective is plural. And a noun is plural if it ends in S. So we do the same with an adjective, and we will talk about how to make an adjective plural in a moment. To make an adjective plural, if it ends in a vowel, you add S, and if the word ends in a consonant, you add ES. And that works straight across the board for all words. It's pretty straightforward. So if your adjective is going to describe a masculine noun, so your adjective ends in O, this is how you're going to change it. So this is for this third step. So if you have an L noun or you're describing a boy, you're going to keep the O at the end. And if you have a feminine adjective, a la noun, or a girl, you're going to change the O to an A. And this is how we make changes to adjectives to make them masculine and feminine. So these are for adjectives that end in O. There are other types of adjectives. Here are some examples. There are some other types of adjectives, and these can describe masculine or feminine things. These typically end in E, L, N, or ista, and these can describe either things. So if it's describing an L noun or a boy, you're going to keep this letter the same as it is. And if it's describing a la noun or a girl, you're going to keep it as it is. So for example, if we have sociable or fácil, they end in E and L. They're going to be able to describe both L and la nouns. The only thing you would need to look at is if it is plural. So let's practice describing el chico, la chica, los chicos, and las chicas using bueno and joven. So el chico for bueno. So we're going to look at our noun. It is masculine. So now we're going to look at our adjective and decide if we need to change it. If it ends in an O, then it's already masculine. So we're going to keep it as bueno. We're going to look at joven. We're still describing a masculine noun. It ends in an N. That also describes a masculine noun. So we're going to keep it as it is. So we will have bueno and joven. Now we're going to look at la chica. La chica is feminine. So now we're going to look at bueno. We need to make bueno feminine. It currently ends in an O. So to make that feminine, we're going to change the O to an A and get buena. When we look at joven, it ends in an N, and that means we keep it as it is. La chica is not plural, so we're going to keep them buena and joven. Now we're going to describe los chicos. Los chicos, the los tells us it's masculine, so we're going to look at bueno. That is masculine, and so we don't need to change it. And then we're going to decide, is los chicos plural? Yes, it is, so we're going to add an S. Joven, to use to describe los masculine, remember it ends in an N, so it can describe masculine and feminine nouns, but now we need to decide, is it plural? It is. It ends in a consonant, so to make it plural, we need to add ES. So we have buenos and jóvenes. Lastly, we have las chicas. Las chicas, the las tells us it's feminine. So we're going to look at bueno. To change bueno to feminine, we're going to go to buena. Then we check, is it plural? Las chicas is plural. Buena ends in a vowel. So to make it plural, it becomes buenas. We'll look at hoven. Hoven ends in an N. It can be describing masculine or feminine. So we have to see, is it plural? Las chicas is plural. So then we need to make hoven plural. It ends in a consonant. So we're going to add ES. So we have buenas and jovenes. This is something that takes a lot of time and practice to do well. There are easy ones, and then there are ones that really make you think, but we're just going to keep practicing until we get better. Good luck.